Hi, this is Kathy Michael from Ithaca College Library. Today I'm going to show you how to run some searches for your biodiversity project. The first thing you would want to do is go to library.ithaca.edu and come to the library's homepage. Then you can go to the guides at the top of the page and under Enter Search Words, Biology. And there's a whole guide for biology which should get you started. I'm going to start at the bottom with citing. If you need help citing in CSE style, right near the reference desk is a citation guide shelf, and you can just pick it up and look at it. It can't be checked out of the library, but it's there. Just ask us at the research help desk. Another option is this little cheat sheet that you can just model your citations after. A good way to get started is to go to the reference page. And I'm just going to show you these two, the Encyclopedia of Life and the Tree of Life. So I'm opening up the Encyclopedia of Life, and there's a search box in the upper right. And what I'm going to search on is tardigrade. And here's tardigrades. It just gives you some background to it. I think I like the other page better, but I just want to show you this one too. So let's go to the Tree of Life web project, and we'll do the same search. This one has a couple nice images there. It gives you the containing group, and it also gives you the water bear name. It was also on the other guide, but you can get it here as well. What I like here is this containing group. You can click on it by Latiteria, if I'm pronouncing that right, and those are symmetrical animals. And if you look at this tree here, you can see where tardigrade, water bears, appears. And a little further down is the phylogenetic relationships, and then you can see on this tree where tardigrade falls. So that's, and there are some references that we can help you look up if you see anything. They should be scholarly in nature as well. So a little bit of background to get started with. After that, let's go up to the Articles tab. There's lots of databases that you can look at. I'm just going to show you 3 today. I'm actually going to start not with any of these databases, but if you click on the library logo in the upper left, you can go to the library home page and do a search. I tend to like to use this advanced search. You click on advanced and you get a little bit more flexible form here. So my search is going to be tardigrade, like that, or water bears. Now, there's some tools that I'm using here. The asterisk will actually truncate the word. So I would get tardigrade or tardigrades. And then if I do the same thing on the next line and do phylogen asterisk, then that will get me phylogeny, phylogenomics, phylogenetic. It basically truncates that word. This is a Boolean operator, and it's saying either find me the word tardigrade or find me this phrase water bears. It's a phrase because I put it in quotations. So if you ever have 2 words that you want right next to each other, put them in quotations. And this whole thing is what I call the search strategy. Then you would just go ahead and run the search. I'm already signed in, but it's a good thing to make sure that you sign into your library account. If you haven't, you can see a banner requesting that you sign in. I already put a peer-reviewed limiter. Let me remove it for a second. But you want to get peer-reviewed articles, and you can do that through a filter. Peer-reviewed under source. So I click peer-reviewed, I apply the filter, and I like to do this little trick where you lock it in place. And what that does is if you change your search, let's say you change it to, you just want articles on this, or you just want books, you will lose your limiter between searches. So that just holds it in place. Another little trick you can do on the library search is using the field codes. There's not as many as you would see in some of the subject-specific databases, which I'll show you next. But you can say, I want these words to appear in the title field, which is a more restrictive search, and it went all the way down to 38 results. At this point, since I'm looking at the top of the page, if you like this search, you can save this query and get notifications. And if I go to the top of the page and I click on the favorites, save searches is here. So all of the searches that I saved, I can always re-click on them later, log into my account and come back to them and search them later on. So that's a neat little tool that you have. And also know that as you look through results, you can pin them to your account. So I just pin the top two, and those will also appear under your saved records on your accounts. So it's a nice way to keep track of your research. You can tag this for your class, and then you can sort things by labels. Some added functionality if you were not aware in our library search. So I'm going to hit search again to get out of my favorites. And let's take a look at one of these articles. The first thing you do when you come to something is you might want to scroll down. You can see that we do have access full text to this in all of these databases. You can go to any one of them to find more information. Here's your title, your authors. Subjects are interesting. If I clicked on this, it would give me every article with this subject heading in it. I usually do a second search where I combine two or more subjects. So I would combine phylogeny with tardigrada below. And the genetics, you can leave that out. You can search on that or not, but it would just force you to find things that are more specific to phylogeny and genetics. Then you want to read through the description of the article and then decide whether this is relevant to you. And a neat little tool, and you might have seen this in the list view and also on this record view, but you can look at the citations. You can find other articles that cite to this article, and you can also see the references that are in this citation. This is a great tool for expanding your research. So now you'll go to a page that are listing sources cited in this article. And there's 61 of them. And the theory is if they're citing your article, then they're somehow related to it. So it's a nice way to expand your research. So I think that is all I wanted to show you in the library search. And then we're going to go to the biological abstracts. Again, I'm going to click on the logo on the upper left to get to the library's homepage. I showed you Abby's library guide, but I'm just going to show you, if you know what you want, you can go directly to the database link. And you can go to the letter B. And I'm going to go to one of the top databases for biology called Biological Abstracts. And most of the stuff in here is scholarly in nature. And it's on the EBSCO interface, but if you weren't aware, there's a lot of indexes on the EBSCO interfaces. You can search them all at once, but you lose a little bit of search flexibility. But some of the other databases are in the health, like CINAHL does some nursing. If you weren't sure what it is, you can toggle over it. And also Medline is also on the EBSCO interface. There's sometimes multiple places that you can search a database. But if you only search biological abstracts by itself, you can search the various fields which oftentimes are specific to the field of biology. So that's some added search flexibility. And it should be just indexing literature in this field. So I'm going to do that same search, tardigrade. I'm going to truncate. You don't have to capitalize the or here in EBSCO. Sometimes I do. It should work either way. The library search, you have to capitalize the ands and the ors. So I'm going to start out with a keyword search and just see what's there. I got 200 results with this search. And you can browse through the subjects if you want and click on a particular subject or a publication if it's of interest. You can also click on the article title and take a closer look at the article. Again, you want to read through the abstract. This is the source. And here are those fields that you can search against. Maybe this one would be of interest. Some of it is for higher level searching, so maybe as you get higher up in your research, you might find the need to search some of these fields. But for instance, biosystematic codes has tardigrada here. So I could change the search and then choose that field if I can find it in this very long list. I sometimes have trouble. There it is, further down the page. So now I'm just searching for every article that's indexed in this database that has tardigrade as a biosystematic code and the word phylogen or phylogenetic or phylogeny. So it went down a little. Now I have 146 results, but I just want to show you the search flexibility you get when you do a subject-specific database. Now let's say you really want this article. The next thing you do is you may not have full text in this database, and you'll see this Get It button. So what you need to do is click the Get It button, and it's going to search our other full text databases to see if we have access. And it's telling me that it's available online in Elsevier Science Journals. Elsevier is a publisher. I do run into a little glitch at this point in that it didn't bring me right to it, and that sometimes happens. But what you can do is just get the title and then search it, and it'll find it in there. I think because it was a supplement. So at this point, you have it. You can download it if you want to, and if you want to see articles that this cites to, they would be at the way bottom. So these are references within this article. Before I leave EBSCO, I just want to mention you might want to add articles to a folder, and I'm going to go forth and look at the next one and add it to a folder. And I'm not reading these over, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. Add it to a folder. And then I go to the top of the page. It's probably under the hamburger. And then I have to find my folder. And then I can select those items that I put in the folder, print them, email, or save. You can create an account in EBSCO. It would be a unique account that would be separate from NetPass, and you could do that in order if you just wanted to save things within the interface, but it's not necessary. For EBSCO, I tend to just email links to myself. Another thing I might do is get the permalink, and that permalink will get me back to this record. And if you use Google Docs, look for a permalink or persistent link, because the link at the top of the page, the URL, isn't always persistent. So it's a good habit to use the permalink. So that's a little lesson about EBSCO. And the final thing I want to show you probably know already, but I'm going to take you there, is Google. But if you go in through our library database and you go to Google Scholar, it authenticates you. There's this thing called Easy Proxy, so that you can actually, if you see something you want, maybe find it through the library, because the thing about Google Scholar is it's not full text. So I'm going to do a real simple search here. Tardigrades. Oops, drop the E. I know I've been here before. And so this view it at IC Library, that's what you get if you go in through the library. Sometimes in institutional repositories you might find a preprint copy. And another thing is I showed you that little up and down arrow where you can look at the work cited in or cited to an article in the library search. In Google, there tends to be more listed, but you can see things that cite to your research to that particular article. And if something is frequently cited, it's usually a good sign. That and there are some date sorts as well. That is the end of my lesson. The only final thing I'll say is if you need help with anything here, you can click on Research Help at the bottom of the page. You can email or call or just drop by the desk. And if you need some face-to-face help in our offices, we do have appointments, and you can click on My name is Kathy Michael, and you can select a date and a time and meet with me. I can meet in Zoom, so if we're doing things virtually right now, I can meet with you online as well. And that's the end of this, and I hope it was constructive for you. Thank you.